This is the firewood processor that I almost bought. How's it going, everybody? Tucker with Tucker's Timbers, back with kind of a different kind of video today. Today I'm gonna show you guys a video of Ohio Woodburner, Joe from Ohio Woodburner. I've talked to him multiple times, and he actually helped me out in the process of deciding which firewood processor I was going to get. So in this video of Joe, I've talked with him back and forth. He's okay with me doing this. I'm going to just react to his video and kind of go along with some of the points that he talks about. The very first processor that he actually owned was the Dyna SC12XP, and that same processor actually became available 20 minutes away from where I'm located. So I typed SC12XP on YouTube, and sure enough, Joe had a video up about it. It was an old one. And so I asked him, I was like, man, do you think it's worth it? Is this a good processor? And we kind of talked, and kind of led me to the Pro LP. He did. So I'm very fortunate to have that. Let's see, I'm just trying to get this set up here. It's technology, eh? Record screen. But yeah, Joe helped me out big time in the decision of what processor I should get. So I'm gonna get him a little bit more viewership hopefully with this video, as well as kind of a new style of video here, but we're just gonna go along with this video of Joe, and we're gonna kind of talk about it and walk through it. So this is the Dyna SC12XP. So let's get right into it. This is why I did not go with this processor and why I went with the Timberwolf Pro LP.
Another way to keep my inventory up. This is the Dyna that I was telling you about. This used to be mine. This was the first processor that I bought. This is the SC12XP. It's their entry-level, smallest machine, but it doesn't have that manual pull-down. It's got a hydraulic upgrade to it. It has a 2-, 4-, and 6-way knife on it, and this is the 6-way. This is the 2-way knife, or excuse me, the 4-way. It slides on the 2-way, which is welded to the machine. It uses a 404.
Context here. Joe's at somebody who bought this processor off of him, I think, and he's just kind of reviewing it, giving his honest feedback. And one thing I don't like about these wedges is that they're actually not adjustable on this SC12. That was a big kind of point of emphasis for me when I was buying when I'm looking at a processor. I don't want to buy a processor where I can't adjust that wedge. So that was a huge thing for me right off the bat. Just wanted to highlight that.
Pitch chain. It's an 18-inch bar. This will take a much bigger log than mine. But, you know, this is a great machine. It's well built. It's with all angle iron. It's got very good welds. It uses the hydraulic fluid for the bar lubrication, so you got to keep your fluid level up on this. It has a Honda 630, so it's just a little bit smaller than what's on my Yappa.
What's funny about this engine is that's actually a very similar engine to what I have on my Pro LP. The Pro LP is just a GX 700 Honda, but the price compared to this processor and my LP is pretty much the same. So it's either I got the Pro LP or the Dyna SC12. So I'd much rather have my LP, and I'm really grateful that Joe was able to show me kind of the flaws in this machine. And he kind of helped me out and said, why don't you look at this Pro LP? And I said, wow, man. I think that same day I actually called Jamie from Timberwolf and made that that down payment on that processor that same day. But let's keep going here.
And it's got the a fuel tank. The fuel tank won't come off of this one like mine does. It has a big chain in feed, and you can really muscle logs around with this. This machine took a much bigger log, and it would handle crooked logs a lot easier than the Yappa. This is the log lift, and that was the key for getting into a firewood processor. I had to have it be able to pick the log up off the ground, and I didn't need a box.
Is where I am right now, kind of. Like I have a tractor, but it's down right now, but that's not relevant right now. But the tractor I have is pretty small, and all I really use it for is to put logs where I need them. I still roll the logs onto the live deck and do all that kind of stuff. Because with the LP, the live deck goes up and down. So with this, me and Joe went back and forth about it a little bit, but I kind of didn't want to deal with I don't know if I told Joe this or not, but I didn't want to deal with another set of kind of conveyor belt like this has for the live deck or the loading feature. I just kind of didn't want that extra moving part, and it just seemed, I don't know, it just seemed kind of janky in my opinion compared to the kind of setup that I have with the LP, and I feel like I can move more logs faster with the LP, and like with this kind of conveyor belt system right here of loading your logs, you are going to be able to do one log at a time, whereas with the LP I can stack 4 or 5 logs up on that live deck and then flip it up. So that's a big key factor too.
Yeah, I didn't like the design of this. I thought this was kind of dangerous. It has these dogs, and man, they're razor sharp, and if you're working with someone else, you could accidentally hit the wrong lever when you're working the machine. And man, if someone's standing next to this, it could just tear a hole into your leg. That always worried me about this. This has the hydraulic upgrade. It's got the saw, your infeed, the log load, and this is your splitter. It's got some valves. You know, this big chain infeed here is pretty beefy. So why did I get rid of this machine? It's a great machine. It's going to last forever. It's just wasn't the right machine for me. The knife is not adjustable on this machine, and I found myself just wasting a lot of wood on it. Because
you see all those cookies down there with Joe. So that's a big thing with me that I try to limit, honestly, is I'm okay with taking like a 24 to 28 inch piece and cutting it into 2 pieces instead of having a cookie and then exactly a 16-inch piece. So I'd rather have 2 14s or 2 13s or even 2 12-inch pieces over, you know, 1 16 round, because that cookie is wasted wood, and it's you're already losing wood when you cut it with the saw and when you split it. So why would I want to lose more wood off of a cookie? You know what I mean? I'm a big kind of no cookie guy. But if there's like if I have like a 21 incher, obviously I can't make 2 10-inchers. Like I'm not gonna do that. And the Pro LP actually doesn't like that. When you try to do kind of 2 12-inch pieces, it's tough because the feed trough conveyor spins, and then so your log hits the there's no grapple that comes down and holds the wood when the chainsaw goes. It's actually just a gravity kind of ordeal, and it's just a wheel that spins on the top. They got spikes on it. It's a spiky wheel that spins on top of the log when it comes into the feed trough, and then you stop it, and all that's holding it down really is gravity and that hefty spiked wheel. So I think that's where Timberwolf was able to cut their costs a lot with the Timberwolf, is that they didn't have that extra hydraulic kind of clamp coming down. Because you see most processors, they have, you know, the infeed's always the same. You got the conveyor belt, the live deck, and then you get to your measure stick, and then another arm comes down and holds the log down, and then you're able to cut with your chainsaw. But with the Pro LP, it just kind of rolls through and you saw it. So that saves a little bit of time and stuff like that, and I'm sure it cut the cost quite considerably, because I think their goal with this processor, the Pro LP, I'll make a whole other kind of video like this on the Pro LP, so stay tuned for that. But I think their goal was to be the cheapest and most affordable processor with a conveyor belt and a kind of live deck option like it has, where you can lift the logs up really easily, or you can put it up and still get 3,500 pounds worth of support with that live deck actually sitting up, and you can load it with a tractor or a skidder or whatever you got, but skid loader. Yeah, like Joe just said as well, the adjustable wedge, that's a huge thing. Where I am, people really care about how their firewood looks. I'm not in boiler wood territory, a little bit, but not, my main market is probably 85–90% burners and wood stoves and fireplaces. So they want wood to be stacked up and they want it to look nice and proportional. So a big thing when I had the 4-way wedge with the Timberwolf, now I have a 6-way, but with the 4-way, I would resplit basically every log unless it was small or perfect. I'll say the perfect diameter for a 4-way wedge is like 6 to 8 inches, because you're getting 3 to 4 inch size pieces. So that's kind of what I aim for per piece. So with the 6-way, if I have to, adjust it, I can, and it's a really big deal. It's just an extra lever. All you do is pull it up and down. And it's just got a pin on the bottom of the wedge that moves it up and down. That wedge on the Pro LP is actually huge. I just put in the 6-way. I just take the 4-way out. It's a pretty hefty workout. You got to get up there and stand in the belly of the beast where that ram goes, and just lift up that wedge. And it's at least 100 pounds. It's not light. So yeah, the adjustable wedge is huge.
It was, unless the log was perfectly shaped, it was hitting the knife wrong and it would just waste a lot of wood, and I was getting all these weird shapes, and I was spending too much time resplitting, and that's what resplitting the wood, and I just did it by myself. I was just spending way too much time resplitting, and it was taking me all day to make firewood that would be like restaurant grade firewood. So I just felt, and then all the extra, this does not have the conveyor on it. It was a $3,000 extra, so I decided not to get the conveyor. It was just a lot of extra work, and it was wear and tear on my body. And what I was shooting for was a career in firewood where I can keep doing this without wearing myself out. I'm not getting any younger. And I just knew I had the wrong machine. So I was able to sell this and then buy that Yappa. These guys are very happy with this machine. They have a lot more people on their crew to make firewood. And the Yappa allowed me to make good firewood with minimal touches. So I don't need a lot of extra people to help me. I can do it all by myself. And I went from an all-day production to make a quart of firewood with multiple touches, and every single log I touched by my hands and would throw them up into the trailer. Now with that Yappa, I don't touch it at all until I'm moving that log up onto the infeed, and then that's it. But anyhow, this was something I just wanted.
You heard him say touches, so that is a huge thing that you guys need to understand about the firewood business. Every firewood guy that I've ever heard of or is successful at all talks about the amount of touches that it takes from log to delivered firewood, where you don't have to do sold it, you don't have to deal with it. That's a huge deal, because that's your time, and like Joe's talking about, I say none of us are getting any younger, as if I'm not 19 years old, but it's true, none of us are getting any younger, and wear and tear on your body is a real thing. So it's just, you have the touches. If you limit the touches, if you touch the wood once or twice, that's beautiful. That is crazy good. Right now I touch it, let me think. So I get the logs, they get grappled down, I don't have to touch them there. I tractor them over to the processor, that's 1. Load it up, that's 2. And then process it, goes up a conveyor, and then stack and load. So there's 4. Sorry, I'm getting text right now, marketplace. But yeah, in those touches that I'm doing now compared to the touches I was doing back then when I had just a Champion 27 ton, it saves me so much time. Because let me break it down for you. So I'm at 4 right now, right? So if I had my 500i, I had to buck up the round. There's one. 2 is carry the round over to where I need it to be. 3 is pick it up onto the splitter. 4 and some change is splitting that round up and touching that round multiple times. So we'll call that 4. And then 5 is stacking, and then 6 would be delivering, and then technically 7 if I didn't have my dump trailer to unload that wood. So I went from 6 touches down to 4 with this processor, and that's huge time-wise in the industry because you're saving not only your body, but you have more time to do other things other than firewood. So if you have any business, you know, time is kind of your biggest asset in my opinion, because if I can get firewood done faster, I can now do at least 1 cord an hour. So compared to probably 4 hours per cord, because I had to buck it up, move all the rounds by hand, and then split them with a Champion 27 ton. It's unbelievable. You can't even compare it. So yeah, I'm really happy that Joe helped me out and kind of told me to steer away from the SC12 because one came, I was like, all right, Dad, let's look for a processor. I think we're ready. Let's take this next step. Let's do it. Let's go for it. And he was like, all right. And then that day I get on Facebook Marketplace and I find an SC12 20 minutes away from me. So I called the guy, scheduled an appointment with him to go look at it, did all the things, and that was for $25K. I was gonna try to talk him down to 21 or 22. That wouldn't have happened. The machine was brand new. So, but anyways, and then I messaged Joe because I looked up SC12 on YouTube and I was like, hey, wait a minute, Joe made a video on it. Joe's a nice guy. Let me reach out to him, see his opinion, because this video, he's kind of telling people why he steered away from it in the end. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, can we talk about this, blah, 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 and he gave me his email. It went from there. So yeah, this is a great entry-level machine, but for the exact same price, you can get the processor that I have and that I'm starting to like more and more. So it just seems like the Timberwolf Pro LP is such a great high-level, like, industrial machine. It's very, very solid and put together compared to this. Like, look at it right now, you know what I mean? It's just a little whatever. But yeah, that's a big difference. And I got the conveyor for 30. It was all under 30. So and they gave me a little bit of a discount, but if you buy a conveyor belt, I think it's still under 30K for a Timberwolf Pro LP compared to, I called Dyna the day that I was going to order a processor. I called Dyna and they said that a brand new SC12XP was like 29 or 28K. And I'm like, I mean, if you said 26, maybe I'd be open to it, but the price difference was not enough for me to not go with the Pro LP.
I'm going to show you. This machine still means a lot to me because this represents my start into the industry, and I'm glad that it's finding a home and it's being well used and well cared for, and that's what you got. You know, there is scale in any firewood enterprise. You know, you see these gigantic firewood processors that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but man, you got to have a huge support around it with more machines, bobcats, loaders, conveyors for your sawdust. And I'm just looking for a way that I can make a living with firewood with minimal machinery, and something where I can minimize my expenses and still make money doing it. And you know, picking a small firewood processor was they cost a lot less. So it was the price to get into the game was a lot less, and that's what this machine. It was sold by Mid-Atlantic Dyna in West Virginia. I went and picked it up myself and pulled it home with my truck. And yes, you get a lot of stairs pulling this down the road. Here's the one thing if you're into hydraulics, this one hose is real tight up against the fender. Even though it's a low pressure hose, I thought maybe this is going to cause trouble someday. Okay, so that's all. I just, you know, I like all of the wood that they make. It's just high quality. It's always consistent, 16-inch, split small. They will load it for me when I come up here. And this is how busy they've been. This was all logs last time I was up here. They've made every single one of them in the firewood.
All right, there it is. There's the SC12. And as you just saw, you can still make uniform firewood with it. You're just gonna have to do that resplit way more often than not. So if you're truly looking to minimize your time, in my opinion, spend $1 to $2 grand extra and buy that adjustable wedge with the Timberwolf Pro LP. And like he was talking about, there's all these processors that are, you know, 75, 100, 150, 200 grand. That's not what you're going to be looking at entry level. The SC12 and the Pro LP are great examples of entry level processors because they're the cheapest on the market by far. And at least with the Pro LP, I still have a live deck feature, an adjustable wedge, and just so many other options that the SC12 can't provide at the same price point. So I think Timberwolf is doing something really cool with this machine. So if you guys have the means to, or are looking to move on from your box wedge splitter, whatever you got, you have an Easton Made Ultra, you have an Alpha 6 from Timberwolf, something like that. You have a Wolf Ridge, just a little splitter with a 4-way and whatnot, and you're looking to do logs to firewood instead of rounds to firewood, I would look at the Pro LP for sure. They're doing something pretty cool over there. They got the prices unlike anything else you're not going to find. Go to Easton Made and try to find the same processor with all the bells and whistles that the Pro LP has for anything close to the price of the Pro LP. You're not going to find it. It doesn't exist. So save yourself some time. Just go look at the Timberwolf Pro LP and yeah, thank me later. But anyways, thanks to Joe, if you're watching this, for letting me do this kind of video. I'm going to try to do this more often because as a full-time college student who has a regular job as well, pumping out YouTube videos every day is not the easiest thing when I have to go to the wood yard and make a video there, or bring you guys along with a delivery when I have an hour-and-a-half time frame to get that delivery done. It's not the easiest thing in the world, so I'm really putting in the effort for you guys right now. So I really appreciate all of you for the growth that we've experienced on this channel. We're only going to keep going up here, so appreciate you guys for sticking around. All right, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, take it easy.